Welcome to The Boys, Season 2, Episode 7, where everybody's got daddy issues.
Welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John. We post 3 videos a week. Hit the subscribe button to stay updated and go to asart.space for all of our audio and video links. And we got some cool boys merch at the store.
Boys merch, we got the leather coasters and we got the shirty shirts.
He really liked this episode.
You gotta check it out, asart.space.
Yes, the daddy issue episode.
Butcher daddy issues.
So we saw Butcher's daddy's issues. We saw Homelander's daddy issues.
Starlight's daddy issues.
We saw Homelander's son's daddy issues, and then
everybody's got daddy issues.
I'm just gonna assume the Deep has daddy issues too.
All right, let's go. Go on, let's go.
All right, so let's do a quick overview. We just finished it. I have my notes here. We're gonna go over it. One thing I noticed: John doesn't watch Community, but I don't know the actor's name, but I just know him from Community as Fat Neil from the Dungeons and Dragons episode.
Fat Neil is the meme boy.
It's so crazy. No, he's not the meme boy. He's like the follower.
Oh, that's right. He was just looking at the meme.
Which is wrong. Which is interesting because it shows Starlight's really pushing hate. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the hate that's going out there. Stormfronts. Yes, thank you. All right, so let's get into this. So this is the daddy issue episode, and
I don't even know what the real episode was called, but this is unofficially.
So basically, they have a plan. They're going to go to court. They got Lamplighter to testify, and they're like, "Oh, this is going to be sweet.
Just keep him alive.
Yes,
just look after him.
Keep him alive, right?" And then they also were like, "Oh, but we also have the scientist head dude as a backup. Like they're going to get him too, because the more people, probably the better.
Stronger case, yeah."
So nothing goes to plan, right? Nothing goes to plan.
It's the boys.
Because Starlight gets captured. Her mom doesn't realize. Like the mom's so in with the seven, always talking to them and stuff.
Why did they wait so long to like announce that she was the mole and everything? I mean, it seems like they took their merry time. I mean,
I think it's just a company, right? They probably play it safe.
I get, yeah.
You know, I think the
whole thing. It's not like they had a replacement for already. All of a sudden,
I just think
gets announced.
They're just playing it safe.
Yeah, okay.
But like that's just like a total curveball because they ended up capturing her, and I think once she was captured, then they're able to say whatever.
Yeah,
because they don't have to worry about her.
Oh, that's right. Because they took out the chip, so they couldn't locate her. Remote. We don't know what that chip was, remote kill or whatever. But that's right. So that was
They must have been in contact with the mom.
Yeah,
they must have been. Okay, wait. Let's go over the whole thing. Okay, so we have Butcher and his dad. We're gonna cover that, which is
a whole other
pretty deep. Basically, Homelander and Stormfront are going steady now. It's public, and they're doing their weird couple thing all over the place.
Very weird couple.
It's so weird where he brings his new girlfriend to meet his son. And we're going to talk about that later. It's going to get really good. And then Lord Denethor from Lord of the Rings is here, and he's Butcher's dad.
And he's Butcher's dad. We've got what the Rowan and whatever.
Rohirrim and Gondor.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And I wouldn't even picked up it was him as soon as Nick said it. I was like, it is him. He's the bitter king, and he's the bitter butcher dad in this one.
Yes.
The bitter butcher dad.
And he is a bitter dad too in Lord of the Rings. So he's just not natural at this part. And then a lot goes down with Becca finally. I know we talked about like we're probably not going to see Becca until it's necessary for the story. It became necessary.
It was pretty necessary, pretty quick.
Very necessary. A-Train and the Deep are at parties with the church, and some weird stuff's going on with the church. Yeah. I think maybe the A-Train's going to help the Deep realize that church is bad.
They just get in the wrong organization, don't they? Yeah.
And then finally, Butcher confronts the scientist, threatens to kill his family, and it changes the scientist's mind enough to go testify.
Yeah. Which is funny. And then goes and shows in this world, like probably the real world, that you can be nice about things, doesn't always get you what you need, but if you have your ammunition and stuff, you can get whatever you need,
And then the pop. And also, we have the whole breakout scene. So we have Lamplighter and Huey go to save the day to save Starlight. Lamplighter lights himself on fire. So I guess originally he said, "I'll make you proud, Dad." So I'm curious if his dad was someone involved in the Seven or something like that. Because he said he wanted to do it in front of the statue.
He wanted it in front of the statue. Yeah.
So it was very interesting. So was he not going to testify in the first place?
Well, it sounds like by the time he went to that Vought headquarters, that he had already kind of planned on what he was going to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either that or he was going to try and do something redeemable if his stat. I don't know. It just seemed like he.
And then we found out Black Noir's weakness. He has a nut allergy.
Black Noir is still no lines.
Okay, so very interesting point. This is spoilers when it comes to comic book stuff, and I've been waiting to talk to John about this. No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine because it's actually going to be. It looks like it's going to be different from the comic books.
Okay, cool.
So Black Noir in the comic books is a clone of Homelander, and he was made so he would, if Homelander ever got out of line, Black Noir would kill Homelander.
Oh wow.
So in the comic book story, like Homelander goes off the deep end, he kills the president, and then Butcher finally. Well, something happened. I think in Black Noir they fight, and they're so strong that they basically kill each other. But he ends up killing Homelander, and then Butcher kills Black Noir, and it's the end of the show.
If this ends up happening in the show, I'm going to
no, but
it's
not.
Nick's
It's
head.
not. And it didn't look like it would be
the same.
No, it didn't. Let's go through it. Who do you want to talk about first? Maeve? We'll go like the lighter stories to the heavier stories. So Maeve freaks out in front of her girlfriend. There's a breakup.
Yeah.
And now she has this whole turnaround where she saves Starlight.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to go still. So what do you think? You think she's going to be the mole on the inside?
I don't think she can be the mole because Black Noir knows it was her that fed him the...
Why is she still there then?
Yeah, I mean, that didn't make sense to me. I don't know.
So did he not see who fed?
Well, I mean, she...
No, because it was just from the back, though.
Yeah, but he would have heard her voice saying, oh, he has a nut allergy and stuff like that. So I would imagine...
That is weird. How come she would want to stay, huh?
Yeah, I mean, unless she just doesn't care and
she wants to die.
Yeah. But
I wonder if she was like, please blow up my head.
You know what's...
You know what I mean? Because she wants to die.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting is Queen Maeve throughout this entire series hasn't had really any comedic moments. She's always been the serious, drama-based actor or actress. So
not anymore.
Can you think of any comedic stuff even in the beginning of the show that she really had?
I think like at the beginning when she like stops the truck and they try to run away.
But that wasn't really comedy where she was saying jokes though.
Yeah.
She hasn't really been that type of character.
So it's been
which
fun.
Is interesting.
Yeah, it was fun to see that from her with the almond joy thing.
Yeah.
That was somebody nut allergy. So we finally get a halfway mask reveal of Black Noir. We already talked about the comic book stuff. But okay, so let's go over Lamplighter's story. So Lamplighter.
So let me ask you, since we're talking about Black Noir a little bit, do you have any hint on who you think Black Noir is?
I don't know.
Is a black guy.
I
almost wish he is the guy from Breaking Bad, the head of the company, but it looked like the guy had scars, but maybe he will mask it up.
You know,
I feel like he should be. If we get we almost got a reveal of him. I was like, yes, we're gonna find out, but I almost feel like he has to be some known actor. It
has to be someone in the story, especially if they want to relate to the comic book stuff.
Yeah.
But at first I thought it was gonna be Lenny, Butcher's brother.
What made you think that?
Because like this whole thing, like Lenny disappeared in this whole thing and the whole thing like that. And I just thought there was like a moment where like not Butcher, but Black Noir was crying. But I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if it's related? Because like then Butcher, it would be a twist on Butcher's story, like Lenny. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing.
But then later on in the story when he was talking to
it was just a crazy theory I had. I just said it was like a crazy
theories all the time, yeah.
Nothing set in stone.
Okay, all right, continue.
Nothing set in stone. But anyways, do you have an idea who he can be?
That's my only guess.
I like your idea. Because he's the president of the company.
He's such a good actor that he's been in the show so little. It would be interesting for him to be brought in a more meaningful way.
You know, it's funny. We were, Starlight's very racist and stuff. And the company sounds like if it's rooted in racism and Nazism and stuff, it's even weird that their president would have, you know what I mean? Like, it's so interesting. I'm curious now how much they actually know about her being a Nazi and all that too. I don't know. I thought about that this episode for some reason.
Well, so the thing that I keep, we've talked about to death on this, on how she was brought in by the company as a replacement, but how did she get brought in? How does she play into the company plan? But so my thought is like, did she just present herself as like a new? I guess it depends on if she. As far as we know, she looks the same that she did back when. So it would be hard for them not to know who she is. But yeah,
it's very interesting, right? Yeah, I don't know. That was a side note. I don't think it was even touched on in this episode at all.
The more that this happens, like, so at first when Stormfront first became a character, I didn't think she was going to be around very long. I thought she was going to be like a short-term character. But now that we're starting to get more and more development of her character, like continually over all the episodes, now her background as a mom and things like that, seems like they're going to be keeping around longer. Either that or they're just building her up to have all this story. So if she does get killed off, then we feel, like for her in some way, shape, or form. But really interesting, like her development so far.
Yeah. I deleted my notes by accident.
Oh, good job, Nick. Good job.
I was like, when I was talking on the phone.
Oh, you can no. Go and shake it, and it'll undo your delete. So shake it.
No, I hit the trash button, I think.
Undo trash. All right, try now.
Oh my gosh. What? You're a soup, dude.
I'm a soup.
You can bring my notes back to life. Okay. So we talked about, we just ended on some random topic that wasn't even in here.
So Nick deleted his notes and he said, I like a soup. I brought them back. So there we go.
I didn't know you can shake and bring them back. That's so awesome.
All right, continue.
Okay, so let's go over Starlight's story a little bit because, and then we'll go to the deeper father stories and stuff. So Starlight is labeled as a traitor. Mm-hmm. They kidnapped her. She's in a room, I guess, without electricity because you would think once the light bulb turned on, she was able to get power and stuff like that. But she's terrible at fighting, it feels like.
That's what I would. She just got the...
I would just if she's able to just burst energy out, if you're getting knocked out like crazy, you throw dirt, you do whatever you can. If you have a superpower to blind someone, because her whole thing is blinding someone to run away. You're
I mean, let's really put it. She seems like a D level soup. How she made it on the 7, I don't know. But I mean, Black Noir, clearly he's been depicted as the soup tracker and killer. But
that's
she
true.
Didn't even put up a fight. She did not do one little.
But you know what's funny though? Maybe superheroes don't rely on hand-to-hand combat skills. It's more hey, we have a superpower. What's the point of learning how to fight?
I guess
that's a big thing in the comic books actually. So Butcher and the team, they're all professionally trained and stuff like that. So in the comic books, they're able to take V to get superpowers for a little bit, and they destroy all the supers because they know how to fight.
Again, if Nick's ruining the rest of the shows for us, you can post death threats down in the comment. We will not delete them. I'll make sure they live on because I'm going to be upset if this series is ruined. But yeah, I just feel like at any point she should have just shot her powers or whatever, but she didn't. She just got beat up really, really bad.
Yeah, and she survived.
Yeah.
And Huey saved her mom.
Yes.
With the severed hand. Oh my gosh, that was so good.
Huey's. So do you think her mom just really wants to get back in touch with her daughter, and so she just went through the proper
I think she's innocent.
Totally innocent.
They were just playing her.
Oh, cool.
Don't you think?
Yeah, it seemed like it. I thought she got shot at the beginning, but I guess she didn't.
No, I think it was gas.
Oh, it was gas?
It was gas.
Oh, okay,
Remember they threw gas in and everyone kind of and then Black Noir knocked her out, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, twice, man. She almost got beat up by Black Noir twice. All right, let's talk about Huey. Huey sitting down watching porn with
Lamplighter, Huey.
What a weird metaphor. I know it works, and it's the same guys that did Zack and Miri Makes a Porno. It's Seth Rogen's one of the writers on the show.
Oh, I didn't know that on the show.
I think he's also a producer and stuff. So,
nice.
Bring porn into it in a fun way, right?
Well, what's just funny is you have this weird world where superheroes are around and people are going to try and make money off of what's popular however they can.
True.
So it just kind of makes sense,
I guess. I guess it makes sense, huh?
It's kind of like all those what was it, the parody movies they did off of Scary Movie, right? Scary movies where they just do parodies on all this.
So Huey thinks he's useless.
Yeah. And they're having this moment with Lamplighter where developing characters which made me think that he was going to stick around longer. Yeah. So he's talking about his...
Yeah, he was just talking about how useless he is, but then they see on the news, they finally switch the channel so they're no longer watching porn, and they see the news. He finds out Starlight's in trouble, and he's like, she's probably held here or whatever, if she's even alive.
Yeah.
He convinces him enough, but maybe in Lamplighter's head, that's when he had his own destruction plan or something. They go... Huey is left there stranded. He like fully strandanded Huey.
Yeah, so he really did just
He really stranded
He
Huey.
Tapped out on his life, and he basically was
Good
giving
thing
up
it wasn't
Huey.
Huey's first time in the tower. Remember
right,
season 1 when he was in as the mole?
Before, yeah.
And then basically he cuts off the hand and he runs for the door.
I just love how he's almost like gagging and everything he does. He's like,
of course, his character would have to do that.
Yeah,
right?
which is fun. That's one of my favorite parts about the Huey character.
The church party. Nice and clean. I didn't see any alcohol. Did you see? No, they were at a bar. No, that was later on. They were at a bar. Clean church party, but they find out their friend. It's not Hawkeye. It's like
no equivalent.
It's like a
Green
Hawkeye
Arrow or something like that.
Yeah, I forgot. It's like
sorry.
It's like
superhero.
Sparrow or something, isn't
sorry,
it?
Superhero.
Falcon Sparrow punch.
Don't Sparrow punch us. Sorry.
We find out that he's no longer a part of the group.
Yeah.
So either he did something or something happened, like happens with the Seven. And they have a PR team on it. It's so basically it's the Seven,
the same. Yeah,
that's church vibes.
That's kind of the feeling I got as well. It's like, all right, we're going to use you as long as you're useful, and if you mess up, do something wrong, or if we find a better solution, we're going to get rid of you.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe bring in on A-Train. They figured they don't need him anymore because A-Train was actually on the Seven. The Deep was actually on the Seven. This guy was never on the Seven, right? The previous guy, the Arrow guy.
No. He was like a
the
B.
youth. He was like a B hero, which is probably what we're going to get in some of that other boys story. Maybe I don't know if they're doing present or future.
That'd be a little bit fun to have a little bit of a connection, though.
Yeah, and have more backstory
development
to the characters. That would be weird though because you'd have younger people playing the part, so maybe they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But if you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, Nick had let me know. They're making like a college series where
it's like a Young Justice League.
Yeah, it's
Teen Titans kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the daddy issue stuff. Let's start with Homelander's son.
Yeah.
So I love how he's doing like stop motion, and then like Homelander and Stormfront are like trying to like slowly break up him from his mom.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the plan originally. I think Homelander was just super excited to show Stormfront the kid, and I think she planned it by doing the thing like, oh, look at the kid, blah blah blah. And
I mean, at first it seemed like she was doing things polite towards the mom. And Homelander was kind of stepping in, and maybe she was seeing if she could do it nicely or not.
Yeah, it was overall just weird the way they were looking at her, and like it was. I mean, it was great acting on everyone's part. Sure. It was very awkward, tense kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we get the moment where you see the son realize. Well, they tell him the truth that he's not really living in this bubble.
Yeah.
It's like the whole Truman Show.
That he is living in a bubble.
He is living in a bubble, and there's more to the world. And all this stuff, and then I was like, "Oh no, is the kid gonna laser?"
That's it. He goes, "Oh no, he's gonna kill his mom." I'm like, "Dude, what's wrong with you?" I was
like, "What's wrong?" It's not like they're gonna blow up multiple heads in a room.
We're still on daddy issues. We'll get to that. But yeah, so you know what? If you think about it, that's the best ammunition I wouldn't have thought. But that's the best ammunition they have against the mom. It's like, hey,
and against Homelander. Like the kid, right? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Yes, no, you're right. I was thinking like ammunition, like weakness to Homelander too would be the son.
But yeah, it seems like that's the best ammunition that Stormfront and Homelander could have presented against the mom. It's like, okay, he definitely, should be with his mom, should be doing this and that. But then what do we have against the mom? Well, she's been lying to him, as far as where they've been living and why they're living there and stuff like that. And very easily can show him. And he's like, oh, I mean, it was a quick turn for sure. Like it was out of nowhere. But
the kid has no idea what he's into. His new mom's a Nazi. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Like, the child's age is probably ripe for molding. Think of like Jojo Rabbit and the whole, but like the youth, right? Remember Jojo Rabbit? Like, oh, great. We did a great review on it and stuff. But the idea of like if you idolize Hitler, he was like the Beatles to that kid, right? Yeah. He saw Hitler as like the Beatles, and it was like this cool thing. And now they can do the same thing with Homelander. Like, your dad's so cool, your dad's this or whatever. And
in all the movies, like that's something they kind of gradually done. But it was a cool
scary road that can be down for
that can be very interesting
for the kid's life in general. But it's going to be really effed up now, his poor life. Because I mean, do you think Butcher's gonna kill the child now, as in order to get to Homelander's emotional state, or threaten the child's life?
I had forgotten about that. So I mean, now we have this whole again, we still have that trifecta going on of okay, we have Butcher, we have the mom, and we have Homelander. Obviously the two guys hate each other, but you have this kid that's kind of mutually in each other's lives in one way or another. So that's very interesting, huh? That's
very interesting. Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah.
And now, Becca, what do you think? You think she'll reach out to Butcher now?
I mean, she has to. That's the only way. I don't know if she knows how to reach out to them because Butcher found
Did
her.
she shoot a signal in the sky? Oh, that's Batman. Dang it.
It's just a big Butcher knife. He already has the deep voice. I am the Butcher.
Yeah. Now that we're on the Butcher, let's go to Butcher's threats.
Yes.
So we talked a little bit about the dad already because we talked about Lord Denethor and the Lord of the Rings stuff. Yeah. But now he goes and he threatens a bad dad, who's Homelander's dad. Mm. And he wants all the information get on Homelander, but then he threatens the scientists, his family. He's like, your kids won't be safe, no one will be safe. Mm. And I guess it worked because he came rolling right in.
Yeah. And it's
to his death.
And what I love about this show, and I'm sure a lot of people do, is there's no good guys and bad guys. And actually another series that Nick got me into that everybody covering is Raised by Wolves.
Yeah.
My mom, so I've been visiting my mom and dad, and my dad and I have been watching it. And my mom has been kind of skimming over a little bit. Mm-hmm. She goes, so who's the good guys and bad guys? I go, it's not really one of those type of shows. And this is kind of that too. Like Butcher does exactly what Vought would do, what any really evil bad guy would do, but it got him the result that he needed. Yeah. And the show was smart enough to show us if you try and do it traditional kind routes, just trying to convince someone, you don't always get the results you want. So
that's true.
Butcher did what he needed to do, and he got it there. Yeah. Do we want to talk to his dad as well?
We also saw that last episode too with Starlight, and when they were trying to get the car away from the guy. And then the guy ended up pulling out a gun, and then Starlight knocked out the guy. Like, she was trying to do the right thing, but it's just like, oh my gosh, like, sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work.
So this conversation with Butcher and his dad, I thought was really cool because we had gotten from when we saw his auntie or whoever it was, right, in the drug dealer aunt, basically. Mm-hmm. We'd found out that Butcher was always not a nice guy, always beating people up, but we didn't really get the story of why he was like that. Mm-hmm. Then we meet King Denethor or whatever, right, from Lord of the Rings, and he is
Lord.
Just
he's no king. He's
Lord,
a steward.
He's a steward of Gondor. But we get the idea that so Butcher is very much like his dad, or has been molded to be like his dad, and his dad even is proud that he brought this anger out of him. Even then, I thought there was going to be this kind of reconciliation.
Throw him over the cliff.
Yeah, I thought he was going to throw him over at the end.
Just like he died in Lord of the Rings.
There passes the steward of Gondor.
Fourth Lord or whatever.
But it was kind of a cool thing because, again, even though it was his dad talking most of the time, we still got the idea, okay, this is how Butcher came to the point he is. He's a mean kid, but now we get an idea of why he was this mean kid. And so I decided it was a fun backstory. Even
it was really good.
And then you get to see his mom, who was complete opposite, and maybe that's what his brother was more like. But we keep being reminded of his brother and how,
It sounds like the dad was the reason for the brother's death too. Like,
oh, really?
It sounded like that. Like, don't bring up Lenny or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know though. I mean, maybe we'll get more.
Yeah.
When we find out Lenny's Black Noir, like I'm telling you guys. All right. And then what other daddy? That's all the daddy issues because then we're in court.
Yeah.
And then John's favorite moment.
Yeah.
Does this top your favorite moment in this season so far?
So my favorite moment in this whole season so far was when they were talking to the FBI or whatever agent and her head just suddenly popped. Such a jerk. I started laughing hysterically.
He loves violence.
Because I just love how Huey just responded to it. That's my favorite part. But
Huey wasn't there to respond. Well, he was watching on TV.
But at the very beginning of this episode, the first shot they showed in the the recap was the head pop, and I'm like, this is going to be good. If they're reminding us about it, it's going to happen some more. Yeah.
So we got
a lot of heads popping.
Yeah. But we were right. Remember we called it? We were like, that must have been the assassin or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were trying to okay, they're showing us that she can pop people's heads.
We thought it was
it would make sense that it is. So we're assuming we haven't been showing it's her, but that's the only thing that makes sense is she was just walking off at the end of that episode. Yep. She was walking towards somewhere. We assume it's to get, Vought. And everybody's head she popped was someone that I think she knew that was part of that program. She didn't pop any supers' heads. Maybe she can't, but
she popped the judge's head.
That is true.
It makes no sense. So maybe her aim's not the best. She's like,
Yeah. Oh, no, it's three people over.
Wait, who has a superpower where they snap? I can't remember. I thought there was... if you guys know what I'm talking about, I think I remember something like that.
Or if he's crazy, you can comment down below. Death threats if he's ruining the series for us, and if he's just, completely...
Overall, what did you think of this episode?
I thought it was a really fun episode. all these daddy issues give us backstory for every single character that has to do.
I would say it's one of the strongest episodes this season.
Story development, really. I mean,
story development and action-wise.
And it didn't really have as much comedy, right? I mean, do you think it was as funny of an episode?
No, it was more, I think, getting to the point of like everyone's stories, right? Like everything that was building up to it. I feel like we hit the pinnacle now. It's like, what's going to happen now? Like, what's going to happen with Homelander? And what's going to happen with the backlash in the news where they see Homelander wasn't doing anything on the TV. I don't know if they're going to cover that at all. But like even the lady's like, or whatever her name is, she was like, "You're a superhero, do something."
Oh,
she was like saying something like that, like when everyone's heads were busted.
I thought he was looking around to try and see who in the audience isn't freaking out that was popping everybody's head.
Oh.
So I'm wondering if the next episode is going to pick up where they're still in the courtroom and he sees the girl and just,
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I wonder how this season's going to end.
Well, I mean, what you were saying kind of made me think. It's like they're building up the characters to where we feel for them. And now, whether we have 1 or 2 episodes left?
I think 1 or 2.
1 or 2 more episodes left. Now we're going to get, obviously we're going to get a cliffhanger because we're probably going to get more seasons. But they're going to put... So who do we get the daddy issues from? We got Butcher,
Homelander. Homelander's son. So pretty much it.
I mean, so I think... If they're developing these character stories, I feel like that means they're going to play important roles.
Well,
at the end of the
basically,
season.
they're making the connection that Butcher and Homelander were raised the same almost.
Yeah, they actually really are. Yeah.
And then I think they're building I don't know, like backstory. So it's like, hey, I'm like you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I think Butcher's still going to kill him.
Wants to kill him for sure.
Yeah.
But
I mean, do you think Butcher is going to be the one to kill Homelander?
I don't think so. So we're finding out.
You think Butcher's going to die?
Well, let me think. I haven't thought. Nick loves to just come with crazy theories. So
you know what? We're going to do more theory stuff probably in a different video.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't need to waste time.
Yeah,
this is episode review.
Yes.
I'm giving this like a 8 out of 10 stars, maybe even 9 out of 10. I don't know if it's like a 10 out of 10 episode, but it's right there.
I think for it to be like a 10 out of 10, you have to have the humor there as well. And there wasn't quite as much humor, but I think it was like 8.59. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all the heads exploding is nice, right?
But you didn't have Huey like that's my favorite stuff.
But you did have some porn.
That's what Nick thinks about. Good job.
See you next time. Remember, guys, if you guys subscribe, we do reviews as soon as we can. Sometimes we're traveling because of work. It worked out. John's in town. And I happen to be in town this week, so we were able to do this video together, which is awesome. And yeah, let us know if you prefer us together or wait. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'll fly out every time.
No.
Yes, check out AsArt.space for all the audio and video links, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.
We were both tested for COVID.
We should leave that in. We were both tested for COVID.
We were.